Hello, welcome to this video mini lesson on how to find high quality resource materials for your project topic. First, I recommend that you go to the UNCG Library page. And you can see that the URL for that is library.uncg.edu. Once you're in here, there are a couple of ways that you can proceed. One is to type your topic into this main search feature. If you do that, though, you will get resources for not just UNCG's library, but libraries all over the place. And you'll also get videos, books, journal articles, all types of resources. And for the purposes of your project, one of the main types of resources that you're probably going to want is journal articles. So a better way to find those is to go through databases. So if you click on databases, I recommend that you come down and click on E, because we're going to go to the ERIC database. Now what's nice about the ERIC database is it's completely focused on educational resources. So if you come down and click on it, it will require you to put in your username and password. And these are your basic UNCG login credentials, the same ones that you use for UNC Genie and also for iSpartan. So once you're in here, you want to put in your topic. Now keep in mind that there are lots of different ways to search, and you sometimes have to kind of play around with your wording, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Let's say that my topic is culturally relevant pedagogy, and see how the computer is already trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. So I want articles on that, but I also know that this is called some other things as well. It's also known as culturally responsive teaching, and it's also called culturally relevant teaching. All right, so I've just put in a couple of different search terms. And like I said, you might have to kind of play around with your search topic to figure out good results for you. So what it's popping up right now is 605 results. Now I can limit these. Let's say that I only want full text options, so options that the actual article or full text, whether it's a chapter, an article, a book, or whatever, is available online. I can also say that I want them to be peer reviewed. I can also say, for example, that I only want materials that have been published in, let's say, the last 10 years. And as you can see, it updated it and cut my resources from 600 some down to 188. So I could continue to refine my search if I want, but now I can actually go through here and kind of see what these resources are and how much of a fit they are for my topic. You can see a little icon and indicator to show you what type of material it is. So this is an academic journal. See a lot of those. You'll also see book chapters, you will also see books, you'll also see white papers and other kind of publications that aren't within journals. And then you also, if you come over here and hover, you can see the abstract of the particular item. And an abstract is a synopsis of what the item is about. From here, I can add to a folder that will kind of collect my materials for me. However, once you log out, the materials in that folder go bye-bye, unless you print them out or unless you save them to like a citation management software. But here I can also access the full PDF text of this particular article, which is super nice. And this makes research 1,000 times easier than it used to be when you had to go and actually find a print copy of an article within a big bounded volume for the journal, or even before that when everything was on microfiche or microfilm. So this is 1,000 times easier. So I can, from here, I can print this article, I can do whatever I want, I can save it, etc., etc. So that's just one example. A couple more hints that I want to give you. If you hover over this little icon here, and the abstract pops up, it'll also pop up subjects or keywords. So these are other topics that apparently this article focuses on. And sometimes you can get good ideas for search words or search criteria from here. I'm not really seeing any really great ones in here. But interpersonal competence, like I might want to do a search for that, for example, or interpersonal relationship, et cetera, or social cognition. If you think that any of these terms, these subject terms or keyword terms could help you with your search, you can certainly use those. Another strategy for finding additional resources is to go to the references section of an article or a chapter or a book that is a really good fit for your topic, because you can then find some references in here, some citations in here that you decide that you want to look up and pursue because you think those would be a good fit for your topic as well. I sort of think of that as a snowball technique where once you find a really good fitting resource, you can then sometimes use the references section to find more resources as well. Another great option is to use Google Scholar. So what you can do is type in Google Scholar, go to Google Scholar, and then type in either a title of a work that's a really good fit for you or the title of a scholar or researcher who's a really good fit. So for example, I know that Gloria Ladson-Billings is an expert in culturally relevant pedagogy. So another way to find good resources is to see which scholars are citing her work. So by looking in the references section of the article that I just looked at, I see whose work that particular author is building on. But this is a way to say who is quoting or citing an author's work. So it's a way of sort of looking back and looking forward to other resources that could be connected to your topic. So for example, this article here has actually been cited by 1,464 other articles. So I can click on that and then see which other articles have cited that particular work in them. So I know that some of these might be really good fits for my project, like culturally responsive teaching, theory, research, and practice. That seems like a great fit. So those are a couple of things that you can do. Similarly, Google Scholar can be used to search for your topic as well. So if I type in culturally relevant pedagogy here as well, I'm going to find some great resources as well. Now, what you'll find though is some of these will take you to an article that you then either have to pay for or have a subscription to. But if you find a really good article through Google Scholar that's in a journal, you can then go back to the library's website to see if they have that journal. For example, this article here is in the journal Anthropology and Education Quarterly. So what I could then do is go back to UNCG's website and go into the journal list and do a title search to see if we have that particular journal on our campus. And sure enough, we do. So I could go into this and actually find the specific volume and issue that I need and then pull up the article that way. So that's the way that you can use Google Scholar in conjunction with the university's website. Now I want to go back and also show you another way that you can find some helpful resources, and that is through a course library guide or LibGuide. And the way that you can get through those is by research guides by subject. And in your case, you would go down to Educational Leadership and Cultural Foundations and then find the appropriate course. Like for example, ELC 670. This is a LibGuide that's specifically for this course on instructional leadership. And so it shows some tips on finding books and videos. It has some associated encyclopedias and dictionaries that may be of help. It has some recommendations for finding good articles, again, through using ERIC database, but also some other databases as well, such as EBSCO, Child Development and Adolescent Studies, etc., etc. There are also some helpful tips for how to search for articles using, for example, Boolean operators and whatnot. And then there's also an APA citation style guide. Again, this can't replace the actual AP book, APA style book, but it can give you some guidance on what are some of the most typical types of references that you will do. Also, again, if you go back to the main university library webpage, you'll see that they also have some tutorials. So if you go down to services and go to library tutorials, you'll find tutorials on a number of different topics, such as using ERIC, which will give you much better advice probably than I can, or Academic Search Complete, which is another really helpful database, etc., etc. So you can see that there are all kinds of library tutorials that you can use, including citing APA style, etc. Also, one other thing that I want to point out is that you can always access a librarian as well. So you can use this chat help feature, or you could also contact the education library. So one of the reference librarians specializes in education, and her name is Nancy Rickman. And you can find her information in the staff directory, and you'll see it here. So Nancy Rickman, you can contact her at her email address or by phone. She is a fantastic resource, and she's very, very willing to help students. So that's another option for finding help when you need it. And one other thing that I want to point out, if you go back to the top, you can also get research help by clicking on this link at the top of the page. And again, this is a number of different guides, tutorials, etc. that can be of service to you. And if all else fails, also feel free to use me as a guide or resource as well. I'm happy to do that for you. And as always, let me know if you have questions. Thank you.